Homecoming marks the 16th film in Marvel's Cinematic Universe and the 4th film in Marvel's Phase 3. And while the stakes in Spider-Man Homecoming are much smaller than films past, Homecoming is everything you'd expect from a Marvel film and much more, with many critics already calling Homecoming Marvel's best yet. However, it's the ending of Spider-Man Homecoming and even some of the events that happened before its official release that have sparked heavy debate amongst Marvel and film fans alike. So before I go any further, keep in mind, everything from here on out has major movie-ruining spoilers to Spider-Man Homecoming, so you've been warned. The questions we're left with are, why did Peter Parker turn down Tony Stark's offer of being announced to the press as the newest Avenger with an even cooler what looked like an Iron Spider armor suit from the comics? Do we have a setup for a Spider-Man Homecoming sequel? And if so, will we see another Avenger team up with Peter? What's Peter Parker's role going to be when Infinity War happens? And did Marvel President Kevin Feige finally put to rest whether or not we'll see the Battle of the Toms on screen at some point in Tom Hardy's Venom versus Tom Holland's Spider-Man? So first, to dispel that rumor that has everyone literally going off of he said, she said. He being Marvel President Kevin Feige, and she being Amy Pascal, who either is the chairman at Sony or was the chairman, because I know she got fired from Sony at one point. I don't know, I heard it went something like this.
I'm sorry, this is not working out. We're asking you to go.
You're fired.
No, I keep job.
Here's $40 if you leave right now.
No, I stay.
Yeah, so I don't believe really anything she says about how the Venom movies will exist in the same world as Tom Holland's Spider-Man, or there's always a chance that Tom Holland and Tom Hardy will meet on screen at some point. I mean, Kevin Feige's face says it all, it's not gonna happen. Kevin Feige also dispelled these rumors personally by bluntly saying in a later interview, there are no plans to incorporate Venom into the MCU for now. Which the for now part he's supposed to say, but that's the best no we're gonna get. So that also means, sorry, no Carnage, no Mysterio, no Kraven the Hunter, no Silver Sable, and no Black Cat, as Sony has plans in place for them to all be the next projects for their R-rated movie universe centered around Tom Hardy's Venom. So this whole bullshit interview was the equivalent of Amy Pascal doing the movie universe version of the Bow Wow Challenge. Kevin Feige's like, hashtag,
Ho, shut the fuck up!
Anyway, here's a quick breakdown of the Spider-Man film. Spider-Man Homecoming predominantly takes place 2 months after the events of Captain America Civil War, and is about Peter Parker trying to prove to Tony Stark that he's ready to be an Avenger. Yet, Tony wants to take more of a mentor role with Peter because he's so young, and Tony doesn't want to put Peter in any unnecessary danger that he may not be ready for. It's also kind of Tony's way of coping with his own father's death, and he wants to be more of a father figure to Peter, since Tony's father was not very supportive of him. As for our main antagonist, Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, aka Vulture, the film opens up in New York at ground level of Avengers Tower in the aftermath of the Avengers 1 film. Chitauri creatures and technology litter the streets, and Toomes and his associates are part of an independent salvage crew in charge of cleaning up the mess. Adrian's crew gets shut down, however, by a Tony Stark-run company called the Department of Damage Control, so nobody can get their hands on the alien technology, which ends up costing Toomes a lot of money in the process. This ends up being the foundation for Toomes' bad blood with Tony Stark. Before being completely shut down, the quick-thinking Vulture hides what we learn is a Chitauri energy core in his pocket and heads back to base camp with his crew to change their business strategy. Vulture's crew includes Tom Hardy lookalike Logan Marshall Green as the first Shocker, Bokeem Woodbine, who would later become the Shocker, and Michael Chernis as the Tinkerer, who is basically their main source of income in charge of meshing this alien tech with human tech to make powerful new weapons to sell, now that Vulture and his crew are in the black market arms business. Vulture justifies these actions by saying people like Tony Stark are already corrupt, so I'm just getting mine. Vulture's flight suit is primarily used on scavenging missions as he puts himself in charge of stealing from the Tony Stark-owned damage control trucks, as well as cleaning up after the Avengers every time they fight somewhere, collecting all the precious technology left behind in the battles, like parts from the Ultron bots in Sokovia from the Age of Ultron fight and so on. While all this is going on, Peter is basically being babysat by Tony's forehead of security, Jon Favreau's Happy Hogan, who already has a lot on his plate as he's in charge of moving everything out of the now sold Avengers Tower to the upstate Avengers facility. Peter's first encounter with Vulture and his crew is when he notices an ATM robbery going on with a couple of goons with some very high-tech weaponry. Against the orders of Happy Hogan, he decides to investigate where these weapons are being made, and ends up finding Shocker 1, Shocker 2, and Donald Glover's character in the middle of an arms deal. That's right, Miles Morales is buying some high-tech hybrid weaponry. Well, not really. I mean, Donald Glover is Miles Morales, just for the Sony animated Spider-Man series. Yeah, what a slap in the face that was, right? No, instead he plays Aaron Davis, aka Prowler, but in the comics, Prowler's nephew is Miles Morales. And later in the film, Davis does mention how he has a nephew who's trying to keep safe from all these high-tech weapons, so how long before we actually get to see Miles Morales in the MCU? Kevin Feige has confirmed that Miles Morales does exist in the MCU somewhere, so look out for that in future films. Anyway, as Peter does more investigating into how Vulture and his crew end up with this Chitauri tech, he does stop them at points, causing Vulture to vow to killing Spider-Man, since every time he interferes, it ends up costing Toomes valuable time and money. Time and money he wants to put towards his family, which we learn in a shocking twist includes Peter's crush and homecoming date, Liz. Anyway, just before this, we get to the confrontation between Peter and Tony, where Peter believes Stark is deliberately ignoring him, like about his mentioning of the arms deal on the ferry. But it turns out Stark was listening, as he had cops at the ready to break up the arms deal between Vulture and actor Michael Mondo playing Scorpion and his crew. By the way, if you want a breakdown on this post-credits scene involving Scorpion, I have a video that goes into much deeper detail, so be sure to check that out at the end of this video. Anyway, after this ferry altercation, we learn that Tony is actually trying to teach Peter a lesson by taking away his new suit, and can really be compared to Spider-Man films past with the line of "with great power comes great responsibility," where the lesson Tony's trying to convey in Peter is that having this super suit is not what makes you an Avenger. It's about making the right choices with the least amount of potential casualties. This is what Peter learns after one of his first major fights with Vulture, as he summons his inner strength to escape from the rebel pile without the help of a high-tech suit. As he then stops Vulture from attempting to hijack Tony's plane full of goodies, and making sure he steers the plane out of harm's way, as well as saving Vulture's life from his malfunctioning suit that was about to explode. Cause all of those adult decisions are what truly makes somebody an Avenger. But back to the hijacked plane. Just a couple of Easter eggs you may have missed when Happy was listing off a few items from the manifest. He mentions two things in particular: a new prototype vibranium shield, perhaps a gift he'll give to Captain America when the two put aside their differences and get ready to fight Thanos in Infinity War, as well as Thor's magic belt that Happy was having an impossible time pronouncing. That may also be something he gives to Thor as they get ready to fight in Infinity War. The belt is called this. Not even gonna try to pronounce it and make a fool of myself. This belt is known as Thor's Belt of Strength, that when worn his already legendary strength gets greatly increased, which again will be very helpful when Infinity War rolls around. As the film wraps up and Tony tells Peter that he's ready to be an Avenger, and has earned a brand new suit, eagle-eyed comic fans will notice some of the orangish gold lining on the suit behind this door. The color pattern of which is very reminiscent to the Iron Spider-Man armor suit from the comics, that includes many more awesome upgrades than the suit Peter currently has. Also, we get the much anticipated return of Tony Stark's better half, Oscar-winning actress Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts. If you're wondering why she's back after her noticeable absence in Civil War, it's worth noting that Marvel didn't want her back in Civil War because they felt her voice of reason presence might have interfered with Tony's story arc in Civil War, as well as she didn't really want to return, stating that she was kind of over the role. But she has said that she loves working with Robert Downey Jr., and it looks like now they're engaged in the MCU, so we'll definitely see her again in Infinity War. But back to this scene, why would Peter turn down the one thing he wanted to officially be, an Avenger, to go back to being just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? It's simply a matter of maturity. He still has school to finish, he wants to stay on the ground as Tony put it, and he doesn't want to concern the most important woman in his life, no, not Liz, Hot Aunt May. Which, oh shit, good luck explaining that to her. So that's the ending explained of Spider-Man Homecoming. Now the next time we'll see Peter will be Infinity War on May 4th, 2018, so what will Spider-Man's role be in that? Well, to be honest, nobody knows right now, not even actor Tom Holland, and the reason is because he's admitted, and Kevin Feige is well aware of the fact, that Tom Holland is absolutely terrible about keeping secrets. He even leaked the major possibility that Marvel one-shots will be coming back, and it looks like the next one will involve Bug Bros, Spider-Man, and Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, who has his next Marvel film releasing after Infinity War 1 on July 6, 2018. Ant-Man is also rumored to be the next hero teamed up with Spidey in the Spider-Man 2 film like Stark was in Homecoming. Even though I'm sure most fans are, like myself, praying for Charlie Cox's Daredevil to team up with them, finally merging the Netflix Defenders with the MCU, one, because there's so much material that can go off of from the graphic novels, and two, come on, it's Spider-Man and Daredevil, who wouldn't want to see that? It's unlikely to happen because of Netflix's grittier style, but even if that were the case, I'm sure Tom Holland would be the last to know. And also because of Tom Holland's loose lips, Feige has intentionally not allowed Holland to read any of the Infinity War script. But as far as Spider-Man 2, again, I have a post-credit video that goes into much deeper detail, as the post-credit scene involving Vulture and Michael Mondo's Scorpion may set Mondo as the next Marvel villain. And if anyone has seen any of his live-action videos as Vaz in Far Cry 3, you'll know he can do bad guy very well as long as the writing's good. Other news we have about Spider-Man 2 is that it will take place during Peter Parker's junior high school year, and that the story will take place mere minutes after Avengers 4 ends, and has been described by Kevin Feige as the next Civil War. And there's all sorts of devastating conclusions that people are already coming to as far as who will and who won't survive, and what direction the MCU is going to take after Avengers 4, since Spider-Man 2 will be the official start of Marvel's Phase 4. And if you're really up to date on all your MCU news, you'll know that some main characters' replacements have already been planned out and are based on what's happening in the graphic novels. But for the sake of ending this video on a positive note, I just have to say, it's nice to see that Marvel and Sony are getting along so well with the Spider-Man MCU deal. And hopefully this is a move that'll make certain studios follow suit that really should give up the movie rights to certain characters and sell them back to Marvel, so that we, the hard-working paying fans, can enjoy our time at the movies just like we did with this amazing film. And that's everything I have for the Ending Explained, breakdown, recap, and news of Spider-Man Homecoming. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below, and tell me your thoughts on the film. Also be sure to comment who you would like to see team up with the Web-Slinger in the 2019 Spider-Man film, because apparently for Iron Man, the floor is appearing in movies after Avengers 4. I fucking hate this meme. Also be sure to comment, since Avengers 4 is untitled, what you think the title will be, and if you think Michael Mondo's Scorpion will be the main protagonist in Spider-Man 2. And don't forget, as always, this is 5 Things Explains Everything with the Fingabang Show, your friendly neighborhood YouTuber.